All right, grasshoppers. Yes, it is. It's 11:30, almost 11:30 here on the most watched show in the universe, the great Mark Putvink. And I'm sorry, I apologize. Yes, he has a shirt on.
Yeah.
No, that's not acceptable. How you doing there, brother?
Good, man. How are you?
Excellent. So Mark again has this the company patriottrainingsystems.com. You can find him. You can do a bunch of like he looks like a weirdo. The stuff he does online there. I just we need to talk. We need to talk. So.
It's not look like I am a weirdo. Yeah.
No, good man, really good man. He has trains a lot of people, Navy SEALs, kids, everybody, men, women, children, everybody. Is there anybody you don't train? Like you've got all the categories covered, right?
I got all the categories, and now we're training Sophie. We took her to a class last Friday. It was a scent class.
Oh, okay.
So they have 3 boxes here and 3 boxes here. These 3 have a treat in them,
right?
And these 3 don't. And they're not visual. They go completely by scent, right?
Wow.
So they walk the line and they check all that. So I said, this is great. We have a search and rescue dog now for treats. So if anybody has any dog treats that are missing, hit me up. Sophie will find them for you.
Perfect. Yeah. Good deal. Good. I was with my grandson, the golden retriever, my son and his
I
wife.
saw that. It's awesome, yeah.
Oh, so cute. Yeah. You know, it's funny because they were trying to debate whether they want to have kids or not. So they said, let's start with a dog first. Well, they've decided they're not having kids. They're not having kids. He's getting better now. He's totally trained now. He gets so excited when he sees his grandfather. He pees on my foot. It's really the cutest thing. You know, it's just like the grandson and grandfather thing.
He's taking possession of you. He said, "This is my daddy. You stay away." Yeah,
he's funny. You know, like he's doing those like around the woods. So it's the first time he had a stick when he was running. He was just like that proud dog. Got the stick, and he's pretty cute.
I've got some photos and videos. Sophie carrying like a huge stick and proud as a peacock. Like, look at me. Bouncing around.
It's funny. The dog would be running a little bit. My son was running with him, and then he'd have to turn around and say, "Where's Grandpa? Where's Grandpa? You know, where are you? Get up here." Yeah, it was good. Yeah, we had a good day. Good day. But it is funny because my son and his wife had gone from being just them to now all of a sudden the dog's getting up at 5 a.m. and got to let him out to walk and pee. So I told him before, I said, "Listen, you're going to love the dog, but it's going to change your life, and it's a fantastic thing. But it's
it's a big responsibility. It's a big time commitment. Yeah,
totally. Sure. Yes, totally." So I've been, as per your advice, I was going I get in streaks where I go like a gym. I'll go like an hour and 20 minutes and have a really good workout and everything. And I was like, okay, I listen to Mark Putvink and he told me it's cut back a little bit, like do 45 minutes, and I find like a lot less sore with muscles and just as strong too. In fact, probably getting stronger. Like I've incorporated the regular deadlift back into my workout. So yeah, good stuff. Again, you were right. Yes, you were right.
Well, it's all depending on what we're looking to do here, what we're looking to accomplish. But yeah, generally speaking, if you get to that 45-minute mark, and the issue here is that your test level starts to drop at 45 minutes.
Right.
And
say that again. Say that again. Sorry.
So at about 45 minutes of really intense work, your testosterone level starts to plummet, and at the same time as it's plummeting, you're getting a spiked increase of cortisol, which is the muscle damaging hormone. I mean, it's an important hormone, but you don't want to have those big waves. So if you I always tell people if you go past 45 minutes, you're socializing. You're not really training.
Yeah,
and that's okay too. But
but it's true. Like you should be able to get a good workout in 45 minutes. In fact, a really good workout because you're moving faster, right? You're getting your heart rate going more. Yeah.
Well, and if you think about, and again, it gets back to what's our purpose for training. So as Pat Mack says, he's a pretty cool guy. He says 4 reasons. One is longevity and health. Second one is to save your own life. Again, dogs are chasing me. I got to get over that fence. If I can't pull myself up, I'm going for stitches in the butt.
Right.
And then third one's to be Batman. Pull somebody out of a burning car. Pull somebody out of the river. And then the fourth one is kick somebody's ass if necessary.
There you go.
And that's the last one.
So you'd be really proud of me. So Monday night, last Monday night, we're at McKay Ice Arena that you told about there.
How'd you like it?
Yeah.
It's Englewood.
Englewood.
Yeah.
That's right. So I went to step on the ice and I had a piece of tape on my blade. Right on my ass. But you know what? It was one of the best feelings because I got up, nothing hurt. It wasn't like that old man falling down. It's like, wow.
Right. Cool. Exactly. Yeah.
I felt like I was fired up. It was amazing feeling because I hadn't fallen down in a while. Yeah.
There's days when I pick something off the floor, I go, wow, there's no noise. It feels great.
Isn't that true too? Like when I don't incorporate the kettlebell swings now, I get the sore back. Like I get lazy kind of on it. But if I incorporate the kettlebell swings, my back doesn't hurt at all. I bend over, tie up the shoes. There's no problems whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm finding with the kettlebell as well, man. So much core. Like I don't really do. Like you'll never probably see me doing crunches. I mean,
I
just don't.
It's a
I
waste
think
of an
it,
exercise.
yeah, it kind of is, and there's so much core involved in the swings. And
Right.
this morning I did a high pulls, like a little bit of a squat, and then a high pull with the kettlebell, and you're working anaerobically as well, so you're getting into that the energy system. And again, life events. And again, we get back to why are we training, but if it's for one of the four reasons that I spoke to before, longevity, obviously, and health, but the middle two, the saving your life, saving someone else, those are brief episodes.
Yeah.
It happens quick, and you have to have 30 to 40 seconds or 45 seconds of available energy to put out at a high level.
Yeah.
And so, that's where the kettlebell comes in handy, because you do 10 reps of kettlebell swing, your heart rate's jacked, and you're going pretty well.
Yeah. No, it is good. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Mark, while you were a trainer in Albany, do you remember Dan Stock? He was a trainer for the Hershey Bears. They had a great tribute for him yesterday. 30 plus years as a team trainer. Wow.
Now, you know what? There wouldn't be, and that's awesome, but I wouldn't have had an opportunity to meet him. It's very rarely that the only other in the NHL, you see the strengths coach more because it's like you're there, morning skate, and you're spending more time around the arena, and you get to know the other staff a little better. But but I'm sure he was a good man. It sounds great.
When are you going up to Cooperstown to see Barry?
So we're leaving here. We're gonna get a bus on February 17, which is a Friday. Okay. We got a noon bus. We'll get into town up there somewhere between, I'm thinking 3:34. Barry's got the whole town coming out. We're gonna have dinner at the VFW. Got restaurants, donating food. Then Saturday morning we have a tour of Hall of Fame, Baseball Hall of Fame. Then the outdoor game in the afternoon, and then Saturday evening we're going to be going to the Utica Comic Game, which is an American League club up there. They coincidentally the Devils farm team just happens to be.
That's right.
And then on the way home Sunday, we're going to stop at a veteran-owned brewery for lunch.
Oh,
so we've got we got a pretty cool little. And Barry's been just phenomenal.
He's unbelievable.
I just got so Saturday, I think I lose track of it. Saturday morning, I got a package coming through the mail from Barry, and it has all kinds of different information pertaining to Cooperstown. So we can't thank him ever enough. And he's a veteran, so it's all part of it.
I wonder if Bill Contradidiac, what he's got here, Omi.
Yeah,
oh, that's what.
Yeah, I've never been there, but apparently it's pretty amazing, pretty cool place. So
that's cool.
Yeah, we'll be going there. Yeah.
Very cool. So I do need to declare victory on the beaches of Greenwich, Connecticut. So the ongoing dogs.
Wait, hold on. You should have like a campaign badge here.
That's right. I should.
Yeah.
Victory. So probably 2 weeks ago, this whole dog thing on the beach with no leash, which I just don't understand whatsoever. But so now I also dubbed myself educator in chief, because one guy couldn't control his dog, and I firmly reprimanded him, told him that he needs to get the dog on a leash, and he said that I was not a very nice person. And then there's some other insults,
some other words.
Yes. And now we're on the beach, and he's there. The dog is under total control. He sees me coming. He walks the other way. So I declared victory. Oh God!
It's almost like Bill Murray with that gopher.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Caddyshack.
Yes. Yes. How did he talk? Remember he was that one scene?
Yeah. Oh my God!
Come and get you.
Yeah. So you should start wearing like disguises and stuff. So
that's true.
Change it up on the dogs in a way.
Oh, this one woman, one day last week, it was still dark, and she's got the dog off the leash, and you can't see obviously because it's dark. And the dog's all of a sudden is right on top of me and starts barking, and I'm like, "What the?" And I didn't realize there was a woman walking the dog, and I had a few choice words to say, and I felt like, "Oh God, it's a woman." Yeah. But still, it's the same. Like, have some respect. It goes back to that whole respect thing, like have your dog. Right. The rule is you're supposed to have your dog under control. I don't know why they allowed it.
Listen, Seinfeld, Kramer, he said, "Without rules, we have chaos." And, he was a pretty on top of the guy.
Yeah. The logic behind. I just don't understand the whole logic to have the rule like that you can have the dog off the leash.
Yeah. So all they're doing is opening up problems.
Yeah.
Just keep it one rule, simple. It's got to be on a leash. It's not that hard. And it's not and common sense tells you for the protection of the dog, it should be on a leash.
Well, that's it. Yeah, because if some dogs running up on me, and I don't know what the dog's capable of doing, I'm going to defend myself. So,
or if the dog sees a squirrel, it takes off, and there's a car coming, you got a problem.
Yep, totally. Yep.
So
the park itself, Todd's Point, Park, is a pretty big place. So the beach is just part of the park. So the rest of the place, the rest of the park, you have to have the dog on your leash. Mm-hmm. But on this, so the way they phrase it too is it's on the lower half of the high water mark I know.
Are you gonna go out there with a ruler?
Yeah, I know. And then they say dog has to be under control. Well, what's control? Your version of control is different than my control.
Much different.
Right? Yeah. So then you get somebody like me out there that figures I'm educator in chief, so I'm going to go educate the world on how they should conduct themselves. Yeah.
Well, my suggestion to you would be to do what I do. So I have my martial arts staff, which is about, I don't know, 6 foot. Yeah. But I use it as a walking stick.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I'm not. There's dogs and they're on a leash and they come up to you and like, same thing. Yeah. But more importantly, like when we're back, especially when I'm alone, there are bear that will kind of come up and introduce themselves to you.
So you get the staff there?
Yeah, I got the staff, and I don't know how effective that'll be, but it gives me a fighting chance and pull out my blade at least. Let
me see here. Our boy, this is the best names on the internet. Women Chicken.
Yeah.
I walk my dog at night with a light around his neck. Yeah. Really?
Oh. Yeah. So we have a not a coat, but it's like a harness that Sophie wears that night that same thing, illuminates. It can be different color, whatever color you want. And again, it's good because cars can see you and people can see you. And
what I got. Hold on a second here. One second. The Christmas season's coming. Hold on. So I have the answer. This is what I'll wear. I'll wear this on the beach.
There you go.
Yeah, it lights up.
That's awesome.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Wear that tomorrow morning.
Oh, that's classic. I got to get a video on that. I'll do that.
There you go, man.
Funny. I'm glad you mentioned that. Oh, that's funny. I forgot I had that. Yeah. Oh, geez.
So I mean, you saw Saturday morning, Bill Brown, myself, and Brad Haberlin. We went. We had a great hike. It was only 5 miles in distance, but it was straight up.
Right.
I mean, straight up. And we got up to, when you get to the top, you can see New York State over there and whatnot. You can tell there's not been anyone there because there's no trash, which is a good thing. But yeah, we had a great morning and
good. And so Bill is the former Navy SEAL. Brad's the young guy that lost his fingers, right?
Retired.
Sorry, I
retired Navy SEAL.
Myself. Yeah. So does he get pretty fired up, like pretty motivational when he's on the walks like that?
Oh yeah, we have a great time. It's I don't know how I can describe it, but we have a good time.
So you know Bill a lot better than I do. Like sometimes like he is super serious, like right? Like, but he's got a sense of humor too, right?
Oh God, yeah. Oh, okay. Definitely. Yeah, he's hysterical. Yeah. Oh. I mean, and some of it's self-deprecating, some of it can be on you or me. Yeah. Oh, okay. But it's all in good fun. Yeah.
Right. So he's busting pretty good. Oh, that's
good.
Oh,
yeah. I like that. Yeah. That's part of the whole walk.
Yeah, I guess the SEALs are like that too, right? They're those teammates. They're always picking on each other.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, as you know, Tom, being in a room, whether it's SEALs or hockey players or men at work, women at work, you get that kind of bonding, and it's pretty cool. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And Brad, is coming back from that really horrific injury. Yeah. So it's great for him to be out there with us, and we love him so much, and we're supporting him, and he's doing fine.
Recovering? He's doing fine.
He's doing well. Yeah, I mean, he's got a long way to go, but it hasn't even been. I think it's about 6 months since the injury occurred. But he had to wear. It was interesting. He had to wear like a, how women wear mufflers back in the old day, so he wore one on his left hand because that's the hand he injured. Because when it gets cold, he doesn't get any circulation. His hand turns purple, so it's got a heater in there. Oh. So he wore that when we went for the hikers. Oh. It was wasn't real cold, but it was cold enough. It's probably like 27, 28 degrees. Well, but as you saw, we were by the falls, which is really cool. Yeah. And we had our shirts off like idiots. And
did you really? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. You got me. I'm all fired up for tomorrow morning now. Get my new lights on my Christmas.
Oh, that's going to be great. That's going to be great. But you should get Tom. You should get one for every season.
There you go. That's
like you should have a Halloween one with pumpkins on it that light up, and then Valentine's Day is coming.
Yeah, I'm doing these other podcasts now. It's called Full Change. So it's a regular podcast, just the audio portion of it. So we've been taping a whole bunch of versions of, or a whole bunch of shows. And one of our guests we had last week was Clint Malarchuk.
Yeah.
You remember the accident that he had, right? Oh God, I've warned people too. If you haven't seen it, you may want to. You can see it at YouTube, but see it at your own risk too. Tough. It's nasty. Yeah. You can't unsee it. So he ended up getting his jugular cut.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because I've never really had a chance to talk to him. We've known each other on Facebook. So in the interview, I asked him what he was thinking about at the time. Very clearly, he says death. He says, I thought I was going to die. And his mother was watching at home. So
the trainer saved his life. He immediately applied immense pressure to the jugular to stop because every time his heart beat, it would shoot out about 8 feet.
Oh God!
Yeah, it
and
was tough to
he
look
came
at.
back and played 10 days later.
Yeah,
He said, "But whoa, there we go, earthquake."
Yeah, getting a little too violent here.
You got to settle you down. Settle you down. Too much caffeine. But yeah, he came back and played in 10 days. But he said that he's had some mental health issues since then.
Yeah.
And he's very open. Yeah, very open talking about him too. Yeah.
Yeah. He does quite a bit in the suicide prevention community, speaking and traveling and telling his story.
Right.
But that was a scary one to look at.
Oh man! The poor mother. Imagine the poor mother at home.
Oh God,
man!
How about so the flap? Who was the first guy in baseball to wear a flap and why? Let's see if you remember.
Say that again, sir.
So the catchers have a flap like a goaltender now.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a hint. It was LA Dodgers. Anyhow, it was Mike Scioscia.
Oh, okay.
And what happened was a guy, the bat broke and the jagged end of the bat flew back and went into his throat here.
Oh, wow. And
that's when they started to. I think they had the flap design before goalies did. Believe it or not, I think. Okay. Well, yeah, it's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Wow, I know. Like even now, like the players with those short little gloves they got on too. We were, God, somebody's gonna get
Evander Kane.
Yeah.
Were you on the ice when Don Maloney stepped in an exhibition game, stepped on Pat Flatley's wrist?
I think I was there. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a tough injury too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, those are scary. There was a kid in Montreal years ago too that got cut on the neck. I think. Yeah, got cut bad. Ooh. You're just surprised that there isn't more
often.
Oh yeah, the speed they're going at even now, right? Yeah.
Boy, what an ugly guy. Chicago. What the hell is going on in Chicago? Boy, are they bad.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And you got to feel so bad for Taves and Kane there too, right?
Yeah.
They both have played their thousands game last night. They've had fantastic careers, and now to be playing like that, that's yeah.
And even so I was watching. Sometimes I'll just watch a player for a while, and Seth Jones. I'm doing well here. It's a Jersey thing. I talk with my hands too much. So yeah, he must have had 100 shots on net last night. But it's a lot of action, nothing happening.
I know. Yeah.
But it was good to see like Kraft stuff. And this is a weird game. I mean, a month ago they were horrible.
I know.
And now
and too, like the fine line between winning and losing, right? You have to do all those little things right. And I think Kevin and I were talking about the show this morning where what happens is the players after a while they think, okay, we'll take a little shortcut here or shortcut here, and then all of a sudden now the game falls apart and you start losing. So yeah.
I don't even want to. I don't want to talk about the Jets.
Oh, I know.
It's bad.
Where are you with Zach Wilson? What do you think?
Where are they with him?
Now, where are you with Zach Wilson? What do you think?
So, I mean, there's obviously talent there, but it needs to be developed. Yeah. And he's a different player than like they were comparing him yesterday to the kid on Detroit, who's more of a pocket guy. Wilson's one of those guys he's going to roll out all the time.
Right.
And I don't, I'm not a football guy, but I would think that there's pros and cons to both. But you just knew he was going to come out fired up there saying and do what he did. Yeah. And then he kind of leveled off. But
yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I don't like his body language either on the bench. It's like people are trying to help him and he's not paying attention.
Right. It's
like Mike White was going out of his way yesterday to go help him.
And he
was like he was blowing him off. Yeah.
Just ignored him.
I know.
Yeah. I picked up that too. So there might be he's a young kid. So I mean there's that, but it's you're a professional. You got to act as a professional from day one.
It was Steve Yeager, not Mike Scioscia, getting some.
Oh, okay. Good call, Danny. Yeah, I was close.
Yeah, he's a baseball player. Yeah, and I think it's got to hurt too, right? It should hurt him when everybody likes Mike White so much. And then yesterday when he was making bad passes, the wide receivers were being very open about how disappointed they were in him too. So that's
well, and there was a couple of times where I think. A lot of it gets back to play calling by Mike LaFleur, who's the offensive. So it's a bit of that, but I don't know. There's I don't mean to interrupt you, but twice this year, once against New England, and then yesterday that they lost on a touchdown on like less than a minute left in the game, and you just wonder how
they had three timeouts left. And they didn't start using the timeouts till 19 seconds to go in the game.
Yeah, Boomer was not happy with Soleil's management of the clock.
Yeah. Whatever was going through his head, right? I mean, I guess he's figuring, okay, we can. But even like with 3 timeouts, you're not even going to be able to use them all in 19 seconds. You got to run quick plays to If you,
I always tell people first guesses are hard, second guesses are really easy.
Yeah. I know. I like that Brable for the coach of the Giants. I like his attitude.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
You know, the Lions, although a lot of people are picking on the Lions coach as well with some of the decisions he made, but I like he's got that swagger to him, you know.
A little bit of swagger, and he's the Aaron Glenn is the defensive coordinator.
Right.
Coach, defensive coordinator, whatever. Again, I'm not a football guy, and he was an all-pro guy here with the Jets. Mm-hmm. And their linebacker, say Anzalone, the kid with the long blonde hair.
Oh yeah.
He was really aggressive. I like the way he played. He just smash mouth football.
Yeah, it's good. It's good football. Yeah. How about on Saturday? There were Indianapolis was up by 32 points, and then they lost.
Yeah,
that hurts.
Not good,
well, especially when it's that Jeff Saturday, who had never coached before. So now, everybody probably thought, well, a great move to hire him as a coach when they're up 32 points, but then they lose the game.
He gets a lot of press, that guy.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Even if it's warranted. Yeah.
It's great. Let me see here what Barry Shelley has to say here. It's great, and I know Putz appreciate you referring to as Messier. Who's he? I'm missing.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't follow.
Oh, I don't know what he's talking about. Bill, our buddy Bill making a comment here about Chicago should have kept Quenneville. No. Sorry to disagree with you, but because of what happened there in Chicago with the sex abuse case,
and he had to go.
He can't. Yeah. Oh, but actually, I should be careful. They did let him go, so he was coaching in Florida, right?
Right.
Before that. Okay, so he got fired from Florida actually because of these. You're saying Billy should have kept him there in Chicago. Huh, interesting.
Well, unfortunately, there was a horrible incident over the weekend in the Ontario Hockey League with the kid.
What happened?
16. He committed suicide. Jumped out of, I forget which level floor, but he's playing for London Knights.
Oh, wow.
And I had called a friend of mine whose son played there to find out, what the hell happened. And apparently they were sending him down, whatever that means in junior A. I guess, would he go to a junior B club or something?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And he didn't handle it well. I think, obviously there's probably some other underlying issues, but he took his life. 16-year-old kid.
Wow. I did not hear that story. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's obviously something else going on. It's like you would assume. But that's, I don't know how we touch it. It would be a touchy subject, but there's a lot of mental health issues out there, underlying mental. Yeah. So we got to be very careful how we handle things, right? And I'm not blaming the team. I'm not blaming the team at all, but.
Oh, no. Yeah.
But
so the difficulty, I guess the question, Tom, becomes like, when we really think about it, some people can handle pressure.
Yeah.
Some people can handle it to a certain level, and some it's just internal pressure they put on themselves to a point where they just act out. Yeah. And you wonder, like, not only in athletics, but the pressure we put on kids to get in certain schools, and my kid's got to be a AAA player, whether it's soccer, baseball, football, hockey, whatever it is. And let them find their own water.
Yeah. When we were on Survivor, I don't know if you knew or not, I was on Survivor. You know if you know that.
What is that a TV show? Or?
Yeah, pretty famous show. So when we got voted off, you'd get on a boat and go back to the mothership or whatever you want to call it. And they have a psychiatrist right on the boat there with you.
Right.
And it was a woman for me. And I said, "What are you doing here?" And she said, "We're not worried about you." She said, "But like some people that get on the show, it's meant so much to them when they get voted off. They're worried about their own health.
Because it's the pinnacle of their life."
Yeah.
It's like,
so it was just interesting. And they had they kept up with us after for months after the show to make sure they'd send emails, call.
Oh, really?
Make sure okay. Yeah. I was in Costco one time and she was actually kind of funny. And she says, "Just checking up, make sure okay." And I go, I'm really not. I'm not feeling well at all. And I didn't want to drag it on too long. And she says, "What's wrong?" I said, "They're out of frozen salmon here at Costco." She's a jerk.
That's awful, but it's good.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't resist it. Yeah, couldn't resist it. Good, but that is interesting with the mental health story. Like that's a terrible story to hear about a young boy, but maybe maybe it's like we may have to change the way we look at things. You're going to send a kid down like that. You just can't assume that he's going to be okay, right?
So, and this is something I struggle with, and trying to find out a way to get educated upon it. You and I, and general population, we don't understand what the indicators are of someone who's thinking about hurting themselves.
Right.
And we don't and even if they say, "Hey, I'm thinking about what do we do?"
Yeah.
And it would be better served for the country if this is something that was easily available to understand what we need to do to help people to prevent it. Because I'm in with our hockey program because it's veterans. can't ignore the fact that it's,
Right.
you know, they say 22 a day on average. They actually think it's probably double that.
Right.
And it's suicide.
I know. I don't know if you guys know that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was speaking to. There was a suicide, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, you're right. And you're right. So both of us now, I get phone calls, I'm sure you do too, where people are considering hurting themselves. And my first reaction is say, well, there's that 988 hotline you can call for that.
Yeah.
It's more than just suicide prevention. It started off being just suicide prevention. It's a mental health place now. But then you think, well, geez, I can't leave this person alone and just assume that they're going to call there. This person has reached out to me for help, you know, but I'm really not qualified as somebody to help with suicide. So it's like you said, okay, listen, I'm here for you, but you've got to call this 988 number.
Well, the one thing that I do know that seems to be effective and is very common in the veteran community is what they call a buddy check. Just call, hey Tom, how you feeling, man? Everything all right? You know, I haven't heard from you. Where you been? Kind of thing. You know, and that's very easy to do.
Right. It is true. Yeah. Just to take the time. And it just means that act alone may help the person just by you showing that you care about them. Yeah.
Exactly. 100%. Yeah. 100%.
I have heard, did we talk about this too? I've learned from that Jackie that I used to do podcasts with. She was the hypnotist, licensed hypnotist, talking about how a lot of these addiction and stuff like that happen. There's trauma that happens to the people when they're younger, up to like 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah.
A lot of times, not always, but a lot of times it's triggered by that. So it's interesting.
Well, I don't know if I ever mentioned this, but there was going back quite a few years ago, the NHL through Dan Cronin, he had asked me if I would want to get the certification, and I started the process in helping people with addiction or substance abuse. And it's mental health. Sure. And I was very surprised to learn, for instance, like there was one of the courses we took. It was they posed a question: who abuses alcohol at an earlier age, Caucasians or African Americans? And your first thought is, well, geez, I don't know. It's actually Caucasians because we have access. In other words, there's always liquor in a cabinet when you're a kid, where it's just not readily available in a lot of African American homes. So there's the common thread to your point, Tom. There's usually a mental health issue, and they actually have an acronym for that. It's MICA, M-I-C-A, which means mentally ill, chemically addicted. So you have to address both issues.
Right. So you're saying that most people that are addicted have some kind of mental illness? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, so addictions in the DSM-4, which is the diagnostic manual for all mental health issues.
Oh, okay.
So it is a mental health issue in and of itself. It's just if you have that in combination with a chemicals or substance abuse, it's a double whammy. But they usually work hand in hand.
Yeah. I guess you just have to. If somebody's got an addiction, it's a mental health problem.
Yeah. What it does is it presents. Okay, so now we have two. We have to look at your mental health, but we also have to look at the addiction issue, and it's they have to work. You got to work together, but it's somewhat different modalities to get at them.
Yeah. Wow. Imagine all of the people out there that have some kind of mental health issue and just don't know what to do about it.
Well, I would venture to say just about anybody who's homeless.
Yeah.
Is mentally ill, and most of them are mentally ill, chemically addicted.
Yeah. Well, it's no secret now either, so I don't mind talking about it. Mel Bridgman, the former player, I think he's still out on the streets in L.A. And they actually, somebody from L.A. I went and saw him. Ron Hextall was out there working for the Kings at the time, and obviously he's a former Flyer, and so was Bridgman. And they went and found him out in the streets and said, "Listen, we'll help you." And he didn't want to come off the streets.
I didn't know he wasn't doing well. Did not.
Yeah, well, this has been years. He's just living out in the streets, and apparently they don't think there's anything wrong with him. He wanted to live out in the streets. He had a family and everything. He went to Wharton School of Business. He was a general manager for a while.
Yeah, I mean, he had a lengthy career, and he was one tough hombre.
And again, this is the way I hear it, anyways. That they went to him and they found him and said, "Listen, we'll get you any kind of help you need." And he said, "No, I want to stay out here."
So my question in his case, and I don't know if it applies, but how many concussions did he have?
Yeah,
because we know that the CTE, one of the manifestations is depression.
Yeah.
And to the point where you look at Junior Seau,
he
shot himself in the heart. You know why he shot himself in the heart? Because he wanted to. So there's that, and you wonder in a case like Mel, because like I said, I'm sure he was in a bazillion fights.
Yeah,
and you don't win them all.
Right. But so it's an interesting topic you just touched on there about the fights about getting hit in the head, but you can still get a concussion without getting hit in the head, though.
Oh, absolutely,
right?
Sure. Okay. So when Eric Lindros got to a point where, because he had so many concussions, just a body check, if it was hard enough and and it shifted his brain and it touched up against the side of his cranium, he'd have another severe concussion.
That is kind of the misconception, especially about fighters in the National Hockey League. They think they've got a higher rate of CT, which really isn't necessarily true.
No.
Like just like you're talking there, it's just hitting. Like it's that whiplash effect, right? Your brain.
Well, there's been for years a huge concern in soccer because of heading the ball so much.
Sure. Yeah.
And we also know that like Dale Earnhardt was unfortunately killed, not from the impact of the crash, but when his body stopped, his brain smashed into the frontal of the skull, and that's what killed him.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, because the brain's still moving at 200 miles an hour, and the body stopped.
Yeah. Does Joe Murphy? I believe he still is on the streets. They had gotten him help too, and then he snuck out or went back.
Yeah. So to Danny, so this is a common thread where the mental illness is so strong that they don't want the help. They want to stay on the street. In most cases, it's because they want to get their substance, whatever substance they're abusing.
Oh,
yeah. There was an article just online this morning about speaking to that, where most of the homeless you see, say in New York City, they don't want to come off the streets.
Yeah.
There are homeless shelters. They won't go to them.
Yeah.
So it's a very difficult issue to deal with.
There's a guy in the street 3 or 4 years ago. He's a veteran, or at least had a sign saying he's a veteran, and name's Al Gesso. And I said, "Listen, I don't mean to insult you, but are you actually a veteran?" He said, "Yes, I was." And I said, "Isn't someplace you can get help and get off the streets?" He said, "No, I don't want to." Yeah. So
So Matt Johnson's another story, right? The kid who played for Minnesota.
Yeah.
Last I heard, he was homeless and living on the beach of Santa Monica. Well, if you're gonna be homeless, it's not a bad place to be. But
well, I
all kidding aside, he's been struggling as well. Yeah. Yeah,
there's a lot of we'll wrap up the show here in a couple minutes, but it's interesting we're having this discussion. It's Christmas time, and a lot of people with mental health issues. This is a really tough time of the year. So really go out of your way to make sure if you see anybody, or like you said before, just reach out to people. Even if you don't see anything wrong, reach out to them, give them a call. Somebody you haven't talked to in a while.
You know what? It's going to sound crazy, and I've been guilty of not doing it for most of my life, but just saying hello to somebody that looks like that they're having a tough day. Just show them, "Hey man, how you doing?"
Yeah, you don't have to know the person.
You might get a finger back in your face, or you might get,
Yeah. So what? You get a finger? Yeah,
exactly. I get that all day from Beth, anyway. So
there you go. Yeah, you're used to it. Yeah. All right, brother. So I won't see you until after Christmas, then, right? Because next Sunday is Christmas. Okay.
Yeah, but we do the show on Monday, Tom. Today's Monday.
But I won't see you until after Christmas, right?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Sharp as Danica would tell me, you're sharp as a cue ball, Mark. I go, yeah, I know.
All right, well, so have a good Christmas.
You too, man.
See you, bye.